The cost of the City of Milwaukee's proposed settlement with ACLU of Wisconsin over police stop-and-frisk practices has ballooned to some $6 million. Stunned aldermen delayed a vote on the settlement Tuesday after learning of the skyrocketing total, a steep increase from the initial figure of $1.9 million for the tentative deal. "I feel like I'm buying a used car and not getting an honest deal here," ALD Michael Murphy said. Related, Milwaukee reaches tentative $1.9 million settlement in ACLU stop-and-frisk lawsuit. Related, ACLU sues Milwaukee police over profiling, stop-and-frisk. Related, the cost of police misconduct in Milwaukee, $21 million, and growing. Murphy and others on the city's Finance and Personnel Committee delayed a vote on the settlement before Tuesday's full Common Council meeting following a briefing on the climbing costs associated with a consultant mandated as part of the proposed deal. Those costs were calculated by the Milwaukee Police Department and the City Attorney's Office. If proved as is, the settlement would involve the city paying an estimated $3.5 million over the next 5 years to a Chicago-based consultant, Hillard Heinze. Heinze would then oversee changes to procedures within the police department to address concerns that the department's search practices unfairly target African Americans and Latinos. The possible settlement was approved unanimously last week by the city's Judiciary and Legislation Committee, but is now stalled before the Finance and Personnel Committee. That committee delayed action last week and again Tuesday morning in advance of the Common Council meeting. The settlement would need to be approved by the full Common Council and signed by Mayor Tom Barrett. Council President Ashanti Hamilton said after Tuesday's council meeting that he remains confident a deal can be reached. By photo, Greg Chambers, a plaintiff in the class action lawsuit filed by the ACLU, talks about his interactions with Milwaukee police. Photo, Mike DeSisti, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. The tentative settlement would include a 5-year consent decree requiring the Milwaukee Police Department and the city's Fire and Police Commission, the Civilian Oversight Board, to reform stop-and-search practices, improve data collection and require officers to undergo more training on stops and searches. The consultant would monitor compliance with the agreement, which will remain under the jurisdiction of the federal court, and issue periodic reports. Aldermen have raised concerns that approving unknown fees for that consultant amounts to writing a blank check. The lawsuit did not seek damages, and the vast majority of the monetary settlement would go toward litigation costs, primarily for expert witnesses and depositions, according to Chris Opp, ACLU of Wisconsin Executive Director. The lawsuit, filed by ACLU of Wisconsin in February 2017, accuses Milwaukee police of routinely stopping thousands of minorities without cause or suspicion. Such stops are a violation of the Fourth Amendment, which requires police to have reasonable suspicion that the person is dangerous or has committed a crime, the suit says. The suit also accuses officers of conducting stop-and-frisks motivated by race and ethnicity, in violation of the 14th Amendment. Named plaintiffs in the class action suit include a Wisconsin state lawmaker, a mother, who says police stopped her son just blocks from his school when he was 11, and a 60-year-old school secretary who says police followed her and her 4-year-old granddaughter into her house without her permission, claiming they had evidence of heroin use. The suit was filed against the city, the Fire and Police Commission, and then Milwaukee Police Chief Edward Flynn. Earlier this year, the city filed a motion to dismiss the suit now that Flynn, the sole architect for those practices, had retired. Flynn denied that his department practiced stop-and-frisk and defended high-volume traffic stops as effective in reducing non-fatal shootings, robberies and car thefts. Related, Milwaukee says stop-and-frisk lawsuit moot now that Chief Flynn has retired. Police Chief Alfonso Morales, who was appointed after Flynn's retirement, ended the neighborhood task force that performed most of the traffic stops and has said he does not expect officers to meet quotas for stopping unquestioning people. The Journal-Sentinel reported last fall that police misconduct has cost Milwaukee taxpayers at least $17 million in legal settlements since 2015, forcing the city to borrow money to make the payouts amid an ever-tightening budget. When factoring in interest paid on the borrowing and fees paid to outside attorneys, the amount jumps to at least $21 million. The news organization found the costs far outstrip the $1.2 million the city sets aside each year for settling all of the claims it faces. Autoplay show thumbnails show captions /slide next slide reader share the story https://jsonl.in/2ioace